In this video, I'll be showing you how you can create this TikTok transition using Kdenlive, and I'll make it quick. So for starters, let's switch our project profile to match something vertical. So you can either go to the menu bar inside of project down to project settings, or you can go to file and click on new. Now, during my research, I did find that the smoothness of the animation in the transitions is often attributed to working with 60 frames per second. In my case, I'll be working with 30 frames per second, but I will explain how you can convert the amount of keyframes to match 60 frames per second. Next, I'll go to custom and choose vertical HD 30 FPS. So this is 1080 by 1920, so 9 by 16 aspect ratio, and then click on OK. We've changed the profile, and in my case, I'll go to my Veritcal Workspace. If you want to learn how to create a Veritcal Workspace inside of Kdenlive, I have a video on the topic. Link is in the description. So now to import our assets. In my case, it's simply a couple of videos and one soundtrack. The videos are from Pixels and the soundtrack from YouTube library. So I'm going to cancel. Kdenlive is offering to change the profile to match that of our clips. Next, in order to play back these clips smoothly, I'm going to create Proxy Clips, because if I double click on these over here, you can see that they are still 4K clips and my machine is struggling with them right now. Before I create the Proxy Clips, however, I'm going to save the project. Now with the project saved, I'll simply click, hold shift and grab all of my video clips, right click in Proxy Clips. The next step is to cut out the pieces that we want to use out of these clips. The method that I'll be using is simply scrubbing through them, finding what I want to use, and then using I. If you hold down shift and use the left or right arrow keys, you can jump back and forth 1 second. Then I'll press O on the keyboard to set the out point, and then you can press Ctrl I so that you put it as a zone inside of the project bin. And that's what I'm going to repeat for each one of these clips. With all of the segments that I'll be using converted into zones, I can grab everything. So hold down Control, click on each one of these, and here we have it. I'll use the spacer tool to make sure everything is on the very first frame. Now the next thing to do would be to simply make them fit. You can see they have these black bars, plus this one is fully horizontal. In my case, I'm simply going to apply the transform directly onto the timeline. So I'll grab everything, go inside of the star, I'll grab transform and drag it onto them. Next, I'm going to rearrange these clips, so change the order in which they're presenting themselves. Finally, I'm going to zoom in so that they fit inside the composition. And since this first cut and this last cut over here are from the same clip, I can simply grab both of them, click on one of them to activate it, turn on the group effect, and now I can zoom in both of them at the same time. Okay. I'll do the same for these vertical clips in the middle here, so I'll grab everything, click on one of them to make it active, and then zoom in just a bit to eliminate the black bars on the side, and I'll make sure to disable the group effect so I don't accidentally change other clips. Alright, so let's start with our transition. The first thing to do is to add our deblur, which is directional blur. So I'll start with the deblur here on the very first clip, and I'm making cuts of 1 second, but my transitions are going to be around 7 seconds, more or less. To calculate this, if we open a calculator over here, I'm working at 30 frames per second, and if I were to divide this by 4, I get 7.5, so I can either use 7 frames or 8 frames for something snappy enough, working inside of 30 frames. And if you're working with 60 frames per second, you would simply do the same thing, either divide it by 4, so you get 15 frames, which gives you a smooth, well-paced transition. Might seem slow for some effects. You could divide it either by 5 or by 6, which will give you 10 frames, which technically should give you the snappiest transitions, if you will. Moving on, how the deblur works is over on angle. If you set it to 0, and you can increase the intensity of the blur with radius, it's going to give you a left to right blur, so horizontal. And if you set the angle to 90, you're going to get an up and down blur, so vertical. I'm going to go for the vertical blur, and I'll set the radius to 100. Now, because I'm using proxies, the preview that I'm seeing here is a lot blurrier than the actual result, and that's because I'm working with proxies, so keep that in mind. Then I'll jump to the last frame, and notice on the timeline here, the last frame is not where the cut is, but rather it's 1 frame before the cut, and I'm going to add a keyframe. And now I can jump to the middle of our clip, and in my case, it's going to be around the 15 frame over here, because this is 1 second, 1 second and 30 frames, so it's 30 frames, half is 15. All right, anyways, I'll add a keyframe here, and I'll set the radius back down to 0. So now it's gonna go from blurry to not blurry to blurry again. But it's in a linear fashion, so let's click on this button here so that we can switch to curves, and let's go to radius. On the first keyframe, I'll switch the interpolation to cubic out, And if I were to move forward 7 frames, if you look down here, you can see inside of radius, it's on 15. So by the 7th frame, we're starting to get out of the intense blur. That's with cubic out. If you want something that's a lot snappier, you can switch to exponential out. And if I move forward 7 frames again, you can see radius is set to 3. So we're already technically back to a clear-ish image, right? And then you can jump to the second keyframe, so the middle keyframe here, and change the interpolation to either cubic in. Again, it's going to be a smoother, longer lasting transition, or switch it to exponential in, which is going to be a lot snappier transition. You also have options like the, circular in and circular out, but I like to use those for longer lasting animations and not these short clips, but it's up to you. Use what works best for you. So that's it for the deblur. Now we're going to add an exposure or brightness. I'm going to use exposure, but feel free to use brightness. So we're going to do something similar with exposure, except that instead of having 3 keyframes, we're going to be using 4 keyframes. Let's get started. On the first keyframe, I'm going to set it to 0.8. Then I'll jump to the last frame, I'll add a keyframe, and then I'll jump back to the first keyframe, let's say, and I'll move 8 frames forward. And then I'll add a keyframe, and then I will reduce the exposure back to 0. Then I'll jump to the last keyframe and move back 8 frames. That should be frame 22 if I'm not mistaken. I'll add a keyframe and I'll set it to 0 as well. Now same thing, let's go inside of curve. We'll stay inside of exposure. Let's go to the first keyframe and we can switch the interpolation to, again, either cubic out or exponential out. In this case, I'll go with cubic out because we have a keyframe here at the 8th frame. And then we can jump to the third keyframe over here and switch it to, let's say, cubic in. Next, we're going to do the zoom out portion of this transition. So for this, we're going to add a transform, and you can do zoom in or zoom out. We're going to do both. First, we're going to start with the zoom out. So let's jump to the very first frame, and you can match your zoom in or zoom out to the natural motion of the video that you're working with. In my case, a lot of these are zoom outs. So I'm starting with zoom out. So on the very first frame, I'm going to set this to 120. Then I'll change the interpolation to cubic out. Then I'll jump to the last frame, I'll add a keyframe, and I'll switch it back to 100. So now it's going to give us, if we go to the curve, make sure to go to width and height so you can actually see the width and height. It's going to give us this gradual zoom out. Now, if you want real-time playback, so you can preview the changes here, because you can see, even though I'm using proxies, it's a little choppy. I'm not getting the full 30 frames per second. You can take the timeline zone, set it to where you want to preview. And then inside of the timeline preview zone here, this little button here, I'll go to the drop down and I'll check on preview using Proxy Clips because I'm using Proxy Clips. And then I can simply hit the play button and it's going to create a preview where the timeline zone is. And if you want to loop the timeline zone, you can hold down Shift plus Control and then press the spacebar and it's simply going to loop that little zone. All right, that's the first part of the zoom out. For part 2, we're going to add another transform, jump to the first frame, and let's say we go for 120 as well. Actually, we want to jump to the middle frame, so 15 in my case. Add a keyframe, and now let's jump to, before we do so, let's change the interpolation. I'll switch it to cubic in. Then let's jump to the last frame, add a keyframe, and then 100, set it to 100. If we look at the curve here, let's make sure to go to width and height again. Because it's cubic in, it's going to stay at the same zoom for a bit, and then it's going to drastically zoom out. So it's going to add a last kick to the zoom out. If I disable the motion blur and the exposure, we should be able to preview this a lot better. And if we preview this, you can see at the end, we get a little punch in the zoom out. Now, obviously adjust the keyframes to match your clips and your desired results. And now finally, the last touch would be to add a fade out, for example. So if you were to add a little fade out to this one, but before we do so, this is the moment where you can save your preset. And for this one in particular, you would delete the transform because this transform is strictly for this clip over here. And then once you deleted the transform, you can click on these 2 discs at the top here of the effects and save your preset. So name it however you want. So TikTok, vertical, and then add your description, blah, blah, blah. And then you would save it. Then you would have access to it inside of the star here with the pencil inside of custom. So I've already made 2 transitions myself. One is vertical in and vertical out, basically zoom in and zoom out. So let's go ahead and make a zoom in for one of our clips so you can see how to do the zoom in. Now, this clip over here, the natural motion is a zoom in. So let's do the zoom in for this one. So on the very first clip, I'm going to press Ctrl C to copy. And then on this frame, let's right click and go to paste effect. And now it's going to paste all of these to it. And we now have our transition. Okay. So let's disable the second transform or the last transform and go into the first transform for the zoom out. And we're going to simply switch around the values. So the first value is going to be 100, so the first keyframe, and the last keyframe can be 120. We'll do the same thing for the other transform, so we can enable it again. We have to do the same thing for the first keyframe, so the default keyframe, set it to 100, and then we can set the last keyframe to 120. Now, for the zoom in, you might want to add more punch to it, so let's say 135, and I'm going to move it to the right ever so slightly, so it kind of stays in frame. Such, and there we have it. You now have the zoom in version of the zoom out, and you can save this one as a preset as well. So now all that's left to do is for these two clips over here, I'm going to add the zoom out, vertical zoom out, and for these two clips at the end, I'm going to add the vertical zoom out as well, actually. And if we want to preview everything, I can press Ctrl A, grab everything, Shift Z, which is going to set the timeline zone to everything selected. So everything here. Go to preview zone and add preview zone. Last but not least, we can color grade. So for the color grading, I'm going to disable the preview zone because it's constantly loading. So I'm going to stop preview render, and you can either grab everything, right click and go to create sequence from selection, and then you color grade the sequence itself, or you can add your color grade to the track if that's all you have on the track. You can also do it directly to the clips in the project bin, but maybe don't. Now, when it comes to color grading, you don't want to color grade using Proxy Clips. You're not really going to get high fidelity. So for this, I'm going to grab all of the clips in the project bin, all of the video clips, right click and disable Proxy Clips. All right, I'll select the track itself. And for the color grade, the first thing I'll add is contrast. So I'll grab a contrast effect. I'll disable the keyframes. So I'm going to set this to 270. Next, you could add temperature. So you change the temperature to something either warmer or cooler, all depending on what you're going for. But for me, I'm going to look for the lift gamma gain, turn off the keyframes. I'm going to increase the gamma a bit. And for the lift, I'm going to decrease it ever so slightly, so darkening the shadows. So a little bit more contrast. And I'm going to reduce the reds from the shadows. So I'm going to make things a little bit blue. And then for the gamma, I'm going to increase the reds a bit, decrease a bit of the greens and blue. And for gain, so the highlights, maybe increase the green ever so slightly. So nothing drastic, do whatever you want with your clip. And then finally, you have to add the sharpen, because that's what's going to give it that TikTok look, I guess. So Luma strength, I'm going to crank it up to 2. It is going to affect them differently. You could do the color grade per clip, but for this, I'm simply going general. And then last but not least, we can add a vignette. This is optional. I'm going to increase the aspect ratio. It makes it more of an oval shape, and then clear the center quite a bit. And now I can reduce the softness, increase the aspect ratio just a bit. Now we have a nice little vignette around the edges. Now the final touch, which is optional, is to add a fade out to each one of these clips. And you can do so by selecting all of the clips, go to the menu bar inside of help, down to find action and look for fade out. The first fade out is for video clips. The second fade out is for audio clips. And as you can see on the side here, I have created custom keyboard shortcuts or hotkeys for these. So you can either click on the fade out, or in my case, I'll be using the hotkey, and it's going to add a nice little fade out here for me. To change the default duration of the fade out, so in my case, you can see it's 3 frames, go to the menu bar inside of settings, down to configure Kdenlive, and then you have fades, and you can change the default amount or default duration. You can also manually change the fade out interpretation. You have linear, cubic in, exponential out, so you can also have a more dramatic fade out if you want to. By the time you're watching this video, I might have created presets for some of these transitions. You can always go inside of the effects tab, up into the download if new effects button. In the meantime, the last thing missing from this is a little bit of an aggressive shake, but that will be for a future video. You can click on this playlist here to learn more about Kdenlive, and thanks for watching.